Have you ever wondered what it would take to survive in the ancient world? No smartphones, no GPS, no grocery stores, just you, your wits, and the unforgiving wilderness. Today, we're diving into some of the most incredible, almost unbelievable survival stories from ancient history. These aren't just tales. They're masterclasses in human resilience and ingenuity that will leave you speechless. Let us start with a story that feels like it's straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, but it happened thousands of years ago. Meet Poon Lim, a Chinese sailor during World War II. While that's not exactly ancient, his story is a perfect modern example of ancient survival skills put to the ultimate test. His ship was torpedoed, and he found himself alone on a small wooden raft in the South Atlantic. For 133 days, he survived. How? He fashioned a fishing hook from a nail he pulled from the raft. He drank rainwater, and when that ran out, the blood of birds he managed to catch. He even wrestled a shark, using a water jug as a weapon to drink its blood and eat its liver for vitamins. Poon Lim's story is a raw testament to the will to live, using methods our ancestors would have recognized. Now, let's journey further back to the Roman Empire. Imagine being a legionary lost behind enemy lines in the dense, dark forests of Germania. This was a terrifying reality for many Roman soldiers. One documented account tells of a small unit cut off from their legion after a disastrous battle. They were hunted, starving, and deep in hostile territory. Their survival depended on skills passed down through generations. They used their knowledge of plants to distinguish edible berries from poisonous ones. They created snares from their own leather straps to catch small game. They navigated by the stars, just as their ancestors had for centuries, slowly making their way back towards Roman-held territory. They didn't have a map. The sun and stars were their guides. They didn't have a supermarket. The forest was their pantry and their pharmacy. Their story reminds us that sometimes the oldest knowledge is the most valuable. But what about survival at sea in the truly ancient world? Let's talk about the Polynesians, the master navigators of the Pacific. For thousands of years, they explored and settled thousands of islands scattered across a vast ocean, using double-hulled canoes. This wasn't just sailing, it was a deep spiritual connection with nature. They could read the ocean swells like a road map, understanding how different waves bounced off distant islands. They followed the flight paths of birds, knowing they would lead to land. They navigated by the stars, using a complex system of star compasses memorized and passed down orally. If they were blown off course by a storm, they wouldn't panic. They'd simply observe the patterns of the waves, the color of the water, the position of the sun, and reorient themselves. Their entire culture was a survival guide to the world's largest ocean, a feat of navigation that still baffles experts today. Now for a story of survival against the elements, think of Sea Ice, the Iceman, whose frozen, mummified body was discovered in the Alps in 1991. He lived over 5,000 years ago, and the gear he carried gives us an incredible snapshot of ancient survival technology. He had a copper axe, a longbow with a quiver of arrows, and a flint dagger. He wore sophisticated clothing made of woven grass and leather, designed to protect him from the harsh mountain cold. He even carried a type of primitive first aid kit containing birch fungus known for its medicinal properties. Sea was a true ancient survivalist. His gear wasn't just for hunting, it was a complete system for living in a brutal environment. The story his body tells is one of a tough, knowledgeable individual prepared for anything the wilderness could throw at him. Although he ultimately perished on that mountain, his existence 4 years prior is a story of success. Let's shift our focus to the deserts of Australia, home to the oldest living culture on Earth. For over 60,000 years, Indigenous Australians have thrived in one of the planet's most arid environments. Their survival is a story of deep ecological knowledge. They know how to find water where it seems there is none, digging for underground sources or collecting dew from certain plants. They have a vast mental encyclopedia of the land, knowing which roots are edible, which insects provide protein, and which plants can be used for medicine. This isn't just about finding food, it's about understanding the entire ecosystem, the seasons, and the symbiotic relationships between plants and animals. They used controlled fires to manage the landscape, encouraging new growth and making hunting easier. This is a story of surviving not against nature, but in perfect harmony with it. Another incredible tale comes from the age of exploration. In 1542, a Spanish expedition in the Amazon rainforest went horribly wrong. Francisco de Orellana and a small group of men got separated from the main party. They found themselves adrift on the world's largest river with minimal supplies. Instead of succumbing to despair, they adapted. They observed the local tribes, learning their fishing techniques and how to identify edible fruits. They built new boats from forest materials when theirs fell apart. They navigated the treacherous and unfamiliar waters for months, facing hostile tribes, strange diseases, and constant hunger. Against all odds, Orellana and his men became the first Europeans to navigate the entire length of the Amazon River, a journey of thousands of miles through a world they never could have imagined. Their survival was a crash course in adaptation, a key skill for any survivor. These stories aren't just about physical endurance. They're about an unbreakable mindset, the mental fortitude to keep going when all hope seems lost. Think of the psychological pressure Punim faced, alone for over 4 months, or the Roman soldiers, surrounded by enemies, clinging to the discipline and training that had been drilled into them. This mental resilience is the common thread that ties all these incredible survivors together. It's the belief that there's always a way, always a next step, always a chance. They didn't see problems. They saw puzzles to be solved. A broken tool wasn't a disaster. It was an opportunity to invent a new one. A storm wasn't the end. It was a challenge to be navigated. What can we learn from these ancient tales? They show us that our ancestors were not primitive. They were intelligent, resourceful, and incredibly tough. They possessed a deep knowledge of the natural world that we have largely lost. They understood the stars, the plants, the animals, and the weather in a way that we, with all our technology, can barely comprehend. These stories are a powerful reminder of the human capacity for survival and adaptation. They challenge us to think about what we would do in their shoes. Could we make a fishing hook from a nail? Could we find our way using only the stars? Could we distinguish an edible plant from a poisonous one? These aren't just fascinating stories from the past. They are timeless lessons in resilience, ingenuity, and the profound connection between humanity and the natural world. They remind us that deep within our DNA, we to carry the legacy of these ultimate survivors. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found these stories as incredible as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the past. Let me know in the comments which survival story amazed you the most. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.